What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Black Culture Podcast. That's my man Price. How you doing?
Well, swell, sir. How about yourself?
I'm great. I'm great, man. I am the Willie Ashford. As always, before we get started, we like to thank our subscribers, the people that like the videos, the people that watch the videos. Thank you to our Patreon supporters. Thank you to everyone that shares the videos. Continue to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, LinkedIn at the Black Culture Podcast. We just thank you guys for the love, support that we've been getting. And let's get into it, man. We have a video out right now called it's about marriage. Refresh it. What is it called? I forgot what it was called.
It's called "Is Marriage Still Important?"
Is marriage still important? That's one of our latest videos. If you have not checked it out, please head on over, go check that video out, then retreat back here and finish watching this one because it's all gonna make sense. But one of the things we did not touch on in that video, Price and myself, we have a lot of behind the scenes conversations.
Yeah.
And it develops a lot of topics.
Yeah.
A lot of great topics. Topics that, I mean, years of topics that we literally can fill up our archive with. And one of the topics we talked about was knowing your role in a marriage.
Yeah, not just in marriage.
Yeah, go ahead.
In a relationship period, right?
Yeah. So, and you have to know before, not just when you get married. You need to know these things before you get married.
Yeah, before. And so it's funny. I was on TikTok and video of Chris Rock came up and he was talking about his ex and all of that. And he said something that it ties into this. And he said, there's no equality in a relationship. Everyone's there to serve. He said, but just like in a band, everybody has a role. And so I'm curious to know, you haven't been married. I've been in, I don't know how many past relationships. What do you think the role should be, and what should those roles be based on? I think that's going to be real interesting because today we've got the modern woman, the modern man, modern society. So what roles used to be by responsibility are not necessarily the exact same roles today in relationships. But there's also gender roles too, right? So just for the sake of, and I just want to let our audience know, for the sake of this particular episode, we're talking about heterosexual relationships. And basically we're talking about the roles of a man and the roles of a woman in a relationship, whether you're dating, whether you're engaged, or whether you're married. And so, Willie, I want to get your take on this, man. What do you think the role should be in a relationship, dating, engaged, or married, and what should they be based on?
Okay, first off, let's start what the roles should be based on. The roles should be based on your strong suit, right? Women have things that they're good at, and men have things that they're good at. We all have flaws. Men have flaws, women have flaws. And money is the number one thing. Let's just put that at the top. Money management. Okay? The rise and the fall of great relationships. Money management, okay? Time. Paying bills, knowing what the bills are. I really can't say what do I think the role should be because every relationship, every marriage have different roles. Only you know what those roles are. But to me, and I'm going to share a little something with you, right? Oftentimes, men, we feel like just because we're men, we have to be obligated to have a certain role. Even if we're not good at it, just because we're a man, we feel like, no, I have to do this. Most women, Price and I talked about this too. Most women are better at managing money than men. Like, believe it or not. And I feel like a lot of time men, we feel like just because of we're men, we have that chip on our shoulder. We feel like, no, we should be over the money. Yo, if you're not good at handling the money and your wife is or a girlfriend is, bro, let her do that. Okay. You don't have to prove a point. You don't have to stick your chest out, put your ego to the side. Ladies, if that man is better at handling the money, let him do that. We listen, man. No one person is doing everything in a marriage, in a relationship. It's teamwork. I feel like no one person should be doing everything anyway. It's teamwork. Chris Rock said, "You're in a band, okay? Like you're together, you're working together, and you have to figure out what operates that relationship, what makes the engine continue to roll. Because if a guy is trying to be the cook and he can't cook, then y'all never gonna be happy. Like y'all never gonna be able to eat. Like if a guy is better at if a guy is better at organizing things, then let him be the planner or whatever y'all gonna do, arrange things. But I feel like, definitely speaking from the man standpoint, oftentimes we feel like just because who we are, it's in our testosterone, it's in our egos. We feel like we have to be in control of most things. Oftentimes we're not that good or not
It,
good at a lot of it.
so I have a question with that. Is it our testosterone or is it our programming?
So I think it could be depending on the type of the guy. I think it could be either or. I think it definitely could be programming, but it also has to do with ego too. Because you could be programmed a certain way, but still let your ego get in the way. If you understand what I'm saying, like you could be programmed this way, but you know what I'm saying, you got an ego and you feel like some people just have certain things that even though they're not good at it, they feel like they can do it. Kind of like a kid, right? A kid kind of needs help at doing something, but just because they want to be independent, they want to prove that they can do it. They don't want help. I know I've done that in my adulthood a lot.
Okay. So let's talk history for a quick second, because historically the roles were very fixed, right? And I say this a lot, you know, technology has given women the opportunity to be able to earn on their own. So back in the day, back in the day, I would say let's start at most 50 years ago, right? So this is 2021, 1971 or something, or maybe I can go a little bit earlier than that. Women took care of the home and men went out and worked and earned the money. Or if you want to go back even before that, men basically took care of things on the outside of the house. Women took care of things on the inside of the house, and that included raising the babies. So a lot of it was tied to sort of it was a working relationship. And because we had to do things more in a manual sense, from even growing our own food to building our own homes, making our own clothing, things of that nature. Whereas today in society, we can go to the grocery store, we can have things delivered right to our doorstep. We can work from home, can do those things back in the day. So roles on in a relationship, in a marriage, were based upon more or less survival, right? And women biologically are better with babies than men are. Men biologically are bigger, faster, stronger. So those roles suited them. Here's the thing: our biology has not changed. Society has, technology has. So based upon that, right, do you think that men should still be able or should still use their biology? Because let's be clear, if we're talking about roles changing, there's certain things that I guarantee you both sides don't want to change. Women still look to men for protection, right? They still look for us to be able to initiate. They still look to us for to be able to, I would say, take charge in certain situations. They still want us to be the one to take the trash out, fix the car, do this and that. Not saying women can't do those things, but they still look to men biologically to be able to do those things. Men still look to women to be able to raise babies, right? That's more of a biological fit. Um, so based on those things, especially when you're talking about building a family, should those roles remain the same as they always have, or should they switch based upon this new age modern society?
I don't think it should switch based on a new age modern society. I think if it's based upon, it should be based upon. It's kind of like a football team, right? You adjust to your players, your personnel. You adjust to that. So I feel like it should be more. You adjust to who you are. Like it shouldn't be based off of what society says or the new generation. If it works a certain way in your household and your relationship, then that's the way it should be. I feel like
So even the roles that we're biologically built to do better.
as far as being a protector, I feel like should remain the same. You like a man is just
Really? Okay,
yeah.
go
I
ahead.
mean, that's just in us. I think even when we're not
Right. That
trying,
that
like,
was
and
my question. The
not even
things that we're biologically able to do better.
yeah, not even on like a female standpoint. You told me a story earlier where you had to look out for a younger one. That's just in our,
Mhm.
in our DNA. So that no, but
No,
certain things,
I'm talking about the roles that we do biologically. Should that change? Because nowadays you have, and it's a lot of women saying they don't need a man, but in actuality, they still look to us for protection. They still look to us for initiation in a lot of situations, things that we do inherently, and it's embedded into us to do those things. But they're basically saying they don't need a man to fill those roles when in actuality they do.
um, yeah, it gets tricky when you talk about like the new days. But no, I do feel like things that we're naturally born with should stay the same, no matter how much they try to change it. Like a woman is always going to be better with kids than a man. Like
Right.
always, a man is always going to be physically more stronger than a woman. Um, Man is always going to just that protector mindset. Put it like this: a guy could see a woman getting abused in public and not know her and go to help her because it's just. Meanwhile, a woman could see a man getting
Exactly. And she
abused,
ain't
and
gonna do shit.
yeah, that's
Exactly.
just in our nature.
Right.
Now she may go talk about I should have did this and that, but a man you're naturally will react to that because it's just that's something that's put in us. So that no, that should not change.
And we're naturally gonna think if we saw a woman slap a dude, we're naturally going to treat that as less harmful as if we saw him slap her.
Yeah,
Even the police. And it's interesting when women do things like that because most punishment in our society is enforced by other men, right? Most men, most of the police force, most of the judicial system, most of our politicians are all men, white men, and they're the ones to enforce the law. They'll see a woman abusing a man, if you want to call it that, whether it's verbally, whether it's physically, and won't issue the same amount of punishment to her as if the situation were flipped around and he was putting his hands on her. They would immediately punish that. So that all boils back down to the fact, well, he's physically stronger than her. And it's always been like that. Men have abused women more than women have abused men. So, when I think about things like that, and that also leads into the roles of the household. Now, when you talk about money and the economy of your home, absolutely. Who's the better person who's able to do that more successfully when it comes to, I don't know, the person who's responsible for shopping for the food and supplying the groceries and just basically the maintenance of the household. To be honest with you, throughout history, that's always been women. I mean, And I honestly think women are better at organizing than men are. For some reason,
Women,
they
they'll
they
turn the
have
house into a home.
yeah, they have this innate ability to multitask that most men don't have. You know, you have men who are good at interior designing, but in my opinion, from what I've seen throughout my life, for a woman, that's a natural fit. Like, I'll be honest with you, I got to go look at pictures to see how I would want to design a space. A woman can go in and paint her own picture the way she wants it and hook it up. That's something that she does innately. And you can argue, well, I think a man can do it too. Yeah, true. But who's innately better at doing that? Right. Empathy. That's another thing. When it comes to certain situations that need what we call a woman's touch, right? Because men, we have the tendency to be a little bit
A little rough.
a rough, you know what I'm saying? Especially with kids. Women have this sixth sense where they can sense when something is not right. And that includes with you too. She can tell when your ass is not telling the truth.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So certain things, and so that's why I've always believed the two side by side. God didn't put women here to do the things that a man can do. He put them here to do the things that a man can't do, and vice versa. So things that we do naturally, I think that role should never change. The things that they do naturally, that role should not change. And if y'all have to conflict on that, I don't think that's a good situation.
Yeah. You put it perfectly, man. It is like men were more physical, rough around the edges, more even like not just the way we act, the way we talk, the way we think. It's more rough, and a woman's more gentle. Like everything, mostly a lot of you can name a lot of things that maybe the finishing touch is that woman's gentle touch. You
Right.
know, like I come home from work. My wife works from home. I'm like, wow, it smells really good in here. Like that's
Right.
something only a woman, you know what I'm saying, could do.
Bro,
Like,
you go into a single dude's apartment
oh man,
and promise you it smells like a freaking
a
locker.
locker
You
room.
know what I'm saying? And it's like if you go into a single woman's apartment, it's all fresh with flower.
Just a
Unless,
warm feeling, man.
well, I'm gonna be honest, that depends on the woman because some women are trifling, but for the
True
most
that.
part, women, her spot will be nicely furnished. It'll have a certain nice smell to it, versus a man's. And I'm talking about pound for pound, you'll get that nice warm feeling from a woman. And yo, I'm gonna be completely honest. I know some men can, women can shop way better than men can.
Facts.
Bro, they know all the deals, they know exactly how to shop. And it's like,
Listen, my wife got this thing. For one, I don't like going shopping anyway. Definitely grocery shopping. My wife feels like when she goes by herself without the kids, she can just get, hey, go, go. I'll stay
right,
here with the kids.
right.
Call me when you are outside. I'll come out there, me and the boys, and get the grocery. But she just feel like, and I think a lot of women feel like when they just by themselves can think, they just way better at shopping, man.
Oh yeah, dude. I is there's only one grocery store I enjoy going to, and that's Whole Foods. I don't know what it is, but the way they got that store set up
Is
is
it the
just great.
samples?
Not just that, man, bro. They got a chicken wing bar. Like, I mean, it's like the way they got that store set up, man. It's a enjoyable place to go to. But I promise you, when I go in there, I'm only getting what's on my list, and I'm in and out in about 5 to 8 minutes because I know exactly what I want and I know where everything is. But nowadays they got it where you can have it delivered. So it's like a lot of times I would just rather do that. But yeah, grocery shopping, designing the home, um, planning trips. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just things that they do better and that they are more acclimated to do. So yeah, can a woman do it? Sure. But what would she gravitate towards naturally? Right? Like for us, we both play sports. So when sports come on, that's where our minds go. With women, most women don't gravitate towards sports unless they play the sport. Now you get one of these Real Wives of Atlanta or what these shows that they're gonna gravitate towards that. I don't really want to watch it. I would watch it with her just because that's something she want to do, but on my own, I'm not watching shit like that. Romantic comedies and things that they gravitate towards stuff. That's why it fits them. So I'm gonna wrap it up with this. I think the roles that we have or should have in our relationship should bring a certain balance to the relationship. It shouldn't be a competition. Well, I can do this. I can do this too. All right. Who can do it better? Like, you should want the best out of your relationship. And there's certain things, again, we do naturally that you should leave it to that person who's biologically built to be able to do those things. And if you find yourself in a competition with your significant other, and I'm not talking about the friendly competition where at the end of the day, y'all just having fun. I'm talking about where you're actually competing against each other. That's not healthy. That's not going to lead to a healthy relationship. And I'm even talking about trying to compete against each other to see who makes more, right? Because I've always been a believer, it don't matter how much I make and how much you make. If we coming together, we a team. I don't care if I make $1 million and you make 100,000. Together, we make 1.1 million. That's how it's supposed to be, right? But I believe that the roles in a relationship should complement the relationship. So you shouldn't be going into it as I do this and you do this. It's like, what are we both doing for the relationship? You know what I mean?
It's on you. It's on you, bro. Go ahead, take us out, man.
All right.
Nothing else, man.
Hey, well, look, I want to know what our audience thinks.
Absolutely.
What do you think the roles in a relationship should be and what it should be based on? Drop a comment below. And then tell us what you think should be the next video, because we like making stuff like this. The last one was a huge hit. Oh, I forgot to hit him with this. So in the last video, if you haven't checked it out, go back and check it out. It's called Is Marriage Still Important? We posted it on social media. And ironically, I'm getting all these comments and people hit me up on my inbox. All the ladies, because we actually we released the clip, and I think the clip was, help me out, Willie. The clip was about what?
It was, what was that clip about? We were talking about if we should have training before marriage.
Yeah. Okay. So in that particular video, there was a part where we were talking about, I think I brought it up, was should there be training pre-marriage, right? And it was a great talk. All the ladies said yes. All the fellas said no. Find that interesting, really, really interesting. So go check that out. But that's going to lead to an even bigger conversation, because we're actually going to do a video about that too. But with this one, what do you think the role should be? What should it be based on? And I mean, I'm really curious to know what y'all think. But you can find this video when it drops. It'll be on YouTube, Apple, Google, Spotify, iHeart, and we make sure you follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. And I think we're on Twitter and LinkedIn too. Yep. And let us know if it's a topic that y'all want us to hit on, because we got plenty of them. And until next time, I'm Price. That is the Willie Ashford. It's the Black Culture Podcast. Peace.